Happy Friday, scholars! I just wanted to, one, congratulate you on your efforts on the informative speech analyses. I just graded them. We're at a 91%, which is a great overall effort for a course collectively. I also wanted to take this opportunity to communicate some criticisms that I have on the 3 speeches that you saw. These are the same criticisms that I would offer up to a face-to-face course immediately after the students are grouped up to analyze these speeches. The first speech, video capturing art. I have to be honest with you. I find that his artwork is more dynamic than he is as a speaker. I feel like that comes out in both the performance and the structure of his speech. Many of you in your analyses actually communicated that you were unclear of what the speech topic was because he was unclear about what the speech topic was. Was it Animalia Cordata? Was it capturing friends into art? Was it time capsules? Had he been clear earlier on, that would have been easier for us to follow. Second, I felt like his art was more dynamic in performance than he was. My question at the end of the speech was, couldn't this art stand alone in a museum with a little caption underneath better than the distraction of contained body language and lack of vocal performance choices? I don't know. I think in the professional world, you want to be just as dynamic, loud, structured, organizing, and aesthetically pleasing as the art that you're trying to present. The second speech, Jessica Green's speech is dynamic in the sense that she is offering up cutting-edge information regarding her field. And if you continue to follow her work, you'll find that she's actually a pretty prominent figure in her field. Now, this is one of the first TED Talks that she offers, and I can tell you, after tracking her field and her career, that her presentations get stronger and stronger, but I like to show this one because there's some obvious flaws to it. One, she never really provides oral citations for the data that she's representing. 2, the yogurt analogy is actually a great analogy, but because she introduces it so far into the speech, she's already lost the audience members, the lay audience members that don't follow the medical jargon and data. Had she started with the probiotic analogy, I think that people would have better understood the numerical data that she was trying to present. The final speaker, the student speaker, which many of you actually said was your favorite, and that doesn't surprise me. 1, because I think it's easier to understand structurally. 2, because she gives us a lot of reminders, reminding us that we're actually following the material. 3, because she has a lot of humor, and while cheesy, it actually gives us a break for a quick minute to digest the medical jargon in her speech. Now, I do have some criticisms for her performance. I feel like because she's memorized word for word and because she hasn't quite gotten past that sort of sterile memorization stage, she doesn't come off as personable as she could. Now, one thing to know about memorizing a speech is it usually takes a few months to sort of unbreak the stagey memorization vocalizations that occur in a voice. So one of the analogies that I often use with my students is when you're a dancer and you first learn choreography for the very first time, it looks really rigid. And each dancer, as they begin to take ownership over those dance moves, make it more fluid, personable, and their own. But you actually have to go through those weird, clunky, rigid rehearsal stages to unlock the personability and the amazingness of that performance. And the same exact thing happens with actors and performers, is when they're memorizing a script, the very first few stages doesn't sound pretty. It doesn't even sound human. It sounds a little bit robotic. And then later we become our own once we've really owned the script and we feel comfortable with it. So those are just a few observations I wanted to offer up about those informative speeches. One of the reasons why I like to highlight that is, 1, a lot of performances are going to have some good elements, but we can always walk away from a performance and identify some things that need to improve. Even my favorite Broadway plays, I have walked away from and thought to myself, you know, there was some elements that I was uncomfortable with. And I feel this way about movies too. So know that there's always an improvement that can be pulled out of any speech or performance for that matter. Then the second thing that I want to highlight is the reason why your informative speech is structured in the way that it is simply because I've studied speeches, other scholars in my discipline have studied speeches, and they have come up with these structures to help speakers create a speech that's clear that audiences won't question in the end. I hope you find this video helpful, and I look forward to watching more of your work.